What's going on, guys? Johnny with 𝗤𝗂cie𝗁𝗤𝗤 Lawn Care, and this is part 2 of yesterday's video. The reason I wanted to take time to make a separate video because I want to really talk to you guys about estimating and walking the property after you give them a quote. But before we get into this video, I would like to thank 𝗤𝗂cie𝗁𝗤𝗤 for sponsoring this video. If you need help keeping up with customers, sending estimates, invoices, or collecting payment, give 𝗤𝗂𝗁𝗂 a free try. Just click on the link in the comment section, and I will leave also a link in this video description. 𝗤𝗂𝗁𝗂 can help you manage your schedule, send automated follow-up emails and texts, as well as keeping up with the back end of your business to keep you on track, organized, and profitable. 𝗤𝗂𝗁𝗂 has presets for lawn care and fully customizable to any home service business. So give 𝗤𝗂𝗁𝗂 a try. So once you give your quote over the phone or whatever the case might be, ensure that you let the customer know that you are going to walk the property, and double check and ensure that you are pricing the job correctly. Now, for instance, if you just take an overview of this property, especially the backyard, everything looks even, everything looks well put together, everything looks like you can just get in there with a 1-2, mow this property and keep it moving, right? But there's a lot of hidden things in this property. The first one is you cannot go below 2.5 inches, 2.5 inches on this centipede grass. And the reason is this backyard is extremely bumpy. Okay, when they put the pool in, whoever the contractor was, they didn't grade the property correctly, and they just kind of threw the sod, and the sod kind of just grew, and they did it in the winter time. So what happened was it rained, and you know, if you don't put sod together correctly and you don't grade the property, when it rained, you'll have divots and holes and little teeny valleys form between the sod itself. Oops, let me pick this up out the way. And it'll make little divots and holes. So this is extremely bumpy, and the only way that you can find out is by you actually walking over it and knowing what to look for. So in saying that, it takes time. This is one of those properties that you really have to take your time and mow it, because if you're going too fast, you're gonna have a lot of scalping going through here. Number 2 is that you have to have a shoot blocker. Now, if your mower doesn't have a shoot blocker, what's going to happen is that you're going to always have to mow in one direction all the time, going back and forth with your chute pointing towards the fence line. Because again, there's nothing to stop you from throwing grass into the pool, and that's a big no-no. Number 3, close to the pool there are these little mounts where they actually install the irrigation. So you can't mow too close to the pool deck itself, because there are some real big mounts. So those have to be trimmed all the time. So you got to know in what direction to trim, how to trim correctly, so you don't keep throwing the grass into the pool itself. Number 4, you cannot edge this pool deck. Okay, you're gonna have to turf line the edges, and I will show you that in this video as well in a few minutes. But you can't bring a stick edger, or you can't use your edger and try to edge this pool bed, because the type of material that they actually use to construct the pool deck is one of those stony type of materials. So if you try to edge this thing, you're going to be ripping or tearing at the material itself, if that makes sense. Hopefully you guys can understand. So you cannot do that. Number 5, during the fall and winter, there are a lot of leaves, a lot of sticks, a lot of debris that fall from the trees. As you can tell, the pool doesn't have a cover, so therefore you are going to have to blow that stuff and mulch it up or bag it. So that will entail your cost as well. Now keep in mind, there are a lot more issues as a lawn care provider that I see with mowing this backyard. So it's not to say, not saying anything bad about the property. It's just that with every property that you go to, from the top, from the outside, excuse me, everything looks easy, everything looks even, but you have to physically walk the property. You have to physically at least mow it one time to really determine the best way to tackle this property. So a 48-inch is your go-to for this backyard because it fits through the gate. Now if you had a 52, that's a no-no. All right, and if you have a 36, because the property holds so much water, you will have ruts when the property is a little bit wet. Okay, now we finished with the mowing. Let me go and get the trimmer, and I will talk to you guys about the best way to trim around this backyard. Okay, when trimming around this fence, you have to be very, very careful and minimize the RPM of your trimmer. And the reason for that is because these fences in the back are made of aluminum. So if you hit it too hard, you're going to put divots in the fence. So therefore, you have to trim it delicately, if that makes sense. You have to take your time and just trim around it. So that's another thing that will take up a little bit of your time. So ensure that you pay attention to little things like that. Now, as you can see, when you're trimming around the pool deck, you have to be very careful and turf line. Okay, you just glance right on the top and hit the blades of grass lightly without scuffing the deck of the pool, and also ensuring that you're not throwing grass inside of the pool as well. So you have to be very, very mindful. Now you can't see from the top, but I'm evening everything up when I'm gliding, because these are mounts right here, but you can't see from the top. But by the time I'm finished, everything is going to look nice and even out. So this takes a lot of time. As a matter of fact, it takes longer to trim the back than it takes to mow the front. Guys, now one thing that you really have to pay attention to is when you're blowing, you don't want to blow the debris into the pool. Okay, you always blow away from the pool. Now sometimes when I come out here and blow, the wind is kind of working against me, so you have to find the best way to get the job done without putting as much debris as you can into that pool. Yes, sometimes it does happen, and that's okay. It happened, but your goal is to minimize the amount of debris that you are introducing into that pool. And you may say, well, the trees and all that stuff is putting debris into the pool, but yes, it's not, it is your job to do the best job possible. It's not your job to just not care and blow things into the pool. Okay, so this is the end result, looking nice and neat. Have a blessed one. Please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, and see you in the next one. Pop Smoke. Peace.